Hi guys, in this video I'm going to take you shopping at this really cute store in Korea. But first, I want to say thank you to Skillshare who is sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning community filled with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. Some of the class topics include painting with watercolors, kawaii drawing, brush lettering, and how to grow your Instagram and TikTok following. I recently took a class on gouache painting with Angela Mackay, and in this class we learned how to draw florals and botanicals and how to make a pattern using gouache paint combined with Photoshop. It was really interesting. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes, so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. The first 1,000 people to use the link in my description box will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. This is the most adorable shop. It's really tiny, but it's packed with so many good things. It kind of has a mix of vintage Japanese items as well as Korean items and some American things as well. These glasses on the shelves kind of remind me of things that I would find at my grandma's house when I was growing up. And my grandma lived in the United States, and she used to collect glasses with different characters on them. I think that at a local gas station they were selling these glasses, and so maybe my grandma collected them over time, but they would have characters like Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry on them, and they kind of look like what you see on these shelves. And she also had a lot of Corelle-ware and vintage dishes that were not vintage when she purchased them, but she kept them for many years. There was such a fun selection of keychains. I love these old style motel keychains. And there's also a little section which had miniatures. These look like something that would come out of the Gachapon machine. And I thought they were so adorable. I mean, look at this little miniature stapler. I used to read Snoopy and Peanuts in a Sunday paper all the time when I was little, but it didn't really appeal to me as a character when I was a child. But now as an adult, I kind of like Snoopy and it's starting to grow on me. For some reason, I was so fascinated by these keychains. I think that they must have had them made especially for this shop because it had the name of the shop on it, and I don't know, I really wanted to get one of these. I later saw some of them at Dongdaemun, so there is some with like Peanuts characters on them, and so I wonder if she bought them at Dongdaemun and just assembled them herself. This shop owner has quite the collection of that orange and pink elephant, and that's actually the mascot for a Japanese pharmacy, and the name of the elephant is Sato-chan. And that little green frog is also a pharmacy mascot. I thought that this Care Bears thing was really interesting. I've never seen Le Bisonnours. I guess this is the French name for Care Bears, which was totally new to me. I thought these roadie little minifigures were so adorable, and I ended up buying one for about 6,000 won, I think it was. And then later when I went to Daiso in Japan, I found a whole bunch of them for like 100 yen, which is the equivalent of about $1. This packet with the apple says wa la 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 dur. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe it's the sound that the apple makes when you're eating it. I have no idea. But I thought that this little section with the postcards was really cute, and I wanted to get all of these postcards. I did end up getting a couple, but this is just really like adorable, but not in an overly super saccharine way. And I think these would make great cards for friends and family for like a birthday or just any random occasion. I would love to get one of these. Such a random assortment of stationery, but I love digging through little corners like this and finding tiny treasures. These look like little cards that you could give with a gift, and I like how they had those 2 pencils cut out in that little pack. In this corner they had these little vintage Korean notebooks. This one is a withdrawal form, I guess. You can track your money in your bank account. And then they had this other one which is a to-do list. super cute, super vintage. There are some Korean stationery items in the store, but actually a lot of things in the store look like they came from Japan, and I almost wonder if the person who owns the store goes to Japan and just goes to the secondhand stores like Hard Off or Off House and just picks up a bunch of really random cute stuff and resells it in Korea. So I actually have a video on visiting a Japanese thrift store on my channel, and if you guys want to watch it, I'll link it at the end of this video. But a lot of things that I've seen at the store look like they may have come from a Japanese secondhand store, and there's a lot of original stationery like these postcards that I'm looking through, but a lot of the little trinkets that are really cute look like they came from Japan. On the other hand, those bread pins and maybe the washi tape in the postcards look like it was designed specifically for this store, but this anpanman thing and some of the other little trinkets look like they came from Japan. Did you guys notice those Miffy stickers in the background? I thought those were really cute. This store was curated so nicely and everything in here was so adorable. I think it would be so much fun to be able to put something like this together. It's such a tiny space, but it was so jam-packed with items. I think I must have spent like 15 or 20 minutes in here just looking around at everything. Even though the colors in the store are all over the place, I kind of like how they have these orange pen containers. It kind of matches with the orange elephants that are dispersed throughout the stores and on all of the shelves. So it kind of feels like this store has an orange and green color theme. And even though those are probably a couple of my least favorite colors in the entire rainbow, I think it works really well in this store. Now that I'm replaying this video, I am asking myself why I did not pick up that Hot Nerds comic book and flip through it. It looks so interesting. This is such a cute little stamp. Looks like something that you could probably find at the 100 yen store in Japan. And we have some more elephants and frogs, and isn't this vintage cash register the cutest thing? I have a weakness for things like that. Down here they had this little Kalita gachapon, and I was actually going nuts over this. I was debating whether or not to get this, and that's because I recently started using the Kalita Wave when I went to the store, which is a coffee pour system. And the only thing was each of these little gachapons were, I think, around the equivalent of $7 US, so they were crazy expensive, and I really wanted certain pieces, so I decided it wasn't worth the risk to get a blind box for that, because it would have been really pricey. I really wanted the miniature coffee dripper and the carafe, but what if I had gotten something else, right? I love stamps. I have a weakness for stamps. These are so cute. And then I thought this was really funny, just this random box of nail clippers. I love this little random corner over here. Safety matches, a bear with sunglasses, one of those scary babies, and there's some illustrations of like a grandma and grandpa on the wall that I thought were really cute. And here's a bunch of toys. I bet none of those are for sale, just for display. And do you guys see those orange and blue shaped ice makers? One of these days I'm gonna have to get one of them. They are super cute and you can find them in Japan everywhere. This was such a cute little basket. It had a lot of little pouches. I've seen that taiyaki pouch at some other vintage toy shops in Seoul, and probably this bread pencil case too. Wouldn't that be funny to just pull out a baguette from your backpack and open it up and take out some pencils at school? Look at this little setup over here. There's a teacup and a framed picture of Grandma and Grandpa. I love tassels for some reason, so I thought those tassel keychains were really fun. More bread and Peanuts characters. I mean, who doesn't love bread, right? One of my favorite things to eat is just really simple, like a baguette fresh out of the oven, cut into slices with some really rich butter and a couple of flakes of salt. I think that is the most delicious thing in the world. I used to live right across the street from a bakery, and I love to go there in the morning on weekends and just pick up a baguette and eat that with bread and butter all day. It was so good. Okay, so this is the basket that looks like it has a bunch of stuff that somebody found at a Japanese thrift store and then brought over to Korea. But the thing is, when you're shopping in the Japanese thrift store, everything looks kind of junky, and so you're really selective. But then once you leave Japan and you go back and think about those things that you passed up, I mean, I guess when you're visiting, you're kind of limited by the size of your suitcase. On the other hand, I did live in Japan for 3 years, and when I was living there, I kind of felt like there's so much cute stuff everywhere. I kind of became a little desensitized to some of it, and so I probably didn't buy as many things as I would have if I was just visiting. Now this little display case is so adorable, looks like an old piece of Americana, and something that I would probably find at my grandma's house. Okay, here's this little basket of roadies. I don't remember this character from when I was growing up, but I did see this everywhere in Japan. In the common kids play areas, they would always have these horses that my kids would ride around on. They're just kind of bouncy and fun, so I really wanted to get one or two. I was having a hard time picking out the color. Is Rhodey sort of a newer character, or is it something that's been around for years and years? I'm not really sure. Leave a comment below if you guys know. These rainbowy colorful pens are really fun. Sometimes I just end up using my Muji gel pens all the time, or my Zebra Sarasas, or my friction ball erasable pens. I tend not to reach for those fun pens as much. I like how they have the Peanuts cups on this little red checkerboard cloth. Super vintage and cute. These are some phone cases. I tend not to use these cute cases though. I always go for the ones that are super protective so that if you drop your phone, it won't break. This is random. I wonder why there's a vintage Playboy magazine in this store. It seems so out of place. In case you guys are wondering, this was filmed way before the pandemic. I have a lot of videos that I filmed but never really edited or just used short snippets from. So I'm slowly going through those and editing them. But that's why no one's wearing a mask in this video. Lots of cute peanut stuff in the store if you like peanuts. And this is kind of random, this little receipt paper. And lots of cute little notes. This one almost looks like it's letterpress. I remember when I was getting married, I learned about the different types of printing, and letterpress is super high-end and expensive, but it feels so luxurious. I didn't get letterpress invitations, by the way. I ended up printing my own wedding invitations on this Japanese screen printing machine called a Goko. I don't think I still have it, but it may be somewhere at my mom's house. I'm not even sure if they make those machines anymore. I think that when I was using it, they had stopped production on some of the supplies, so I had to buy it off of eBay, and it was really hard to find. When I look at something like this, I just think if this store is in California or even in Japan, this wouldn't be the best idea, because if you had an earthquake, then everything on this shelf would come tumbling down. This Usagi rabbit cutter has to be one of the cutest tape cutters ever. As far as earthquakes go, the little stuff that's attached to this board would probably be okay, unless there's a really big earthquake. But the little mini figurines that are sort of sitting on top of the shelf would definitely tumble down to the floor. So you wouldn't want anything fragile on there or breakable. I have a friend who really likes peanuts a lot. So I think I was kind of looking at this and deciding whether or not to get that for her. Do you guys have a favorite character? I think my favorite character is probably Little Twin Stars, Kiki and Lala. So that is always something that I gravitate towards. But then, you know, is there a character that you really like that if your friend went to a store and they saw something with that character, they would look at it and think about getting it for you, or think, oh, this is perfect for my friend? This store is kind of a treasure trove for somebody who likes peanuts. There were a handful of anpanmen pieces here, and I think that's something that you don't really see outside of Japan a lot. By the way, love that little bunny in the carrot car. This little red and white glass is so cute. It reminds me of It's a Small World. These also look like items you can find at the Japanese thrift store. And some of the cups look like vintage glasses that were probably from the 70s or something like that. So this video is making me really want to get one of those bear shaved ice machines. They're so cute. Anyway, we're coming towards the end of the video, and I just want to remind you guys to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up. I also want to give a big thank you and shout out to my Patreons and channel members. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!